Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm a mom to 4. I love to homeschool, I love to read good books, and I love to chat about both of those things on this channel. So thank you for stopping by. Today's video is a book video. It's a video I like to make at the beginning of every month, talking about my plans for the month. I love to plan out, to think about, to make lists, stacks of books that I potentially want to read for the month. In the past, I've held a little bit tighter to my stacks or my TBRs, but I'm loosening that up a bit because I have not done very well these past couple months at TBRs or readathons. I've been actually quite terrible at them, but I still like to plan. I still like to think about it ahead of time, and I still like to share. And after saying all that, I actually do have a readathon that I'm loosely planning on participating in. It's called the Fall Into Reading Challenge, and it's a 3-month challenge. And it's very loose. It's a lot of genres, and it's hosted by 4 booktubers that I just love. I follow their channel. I love watching their videos. They're fantastic ladies, and so I definitely want to participate. So I'm going to put up their little bingo board here. I think it's a 15 spot bingo board that I'm actually not going to plan my TBR around. I'm going to plan my TBR and then I'm going to see what fits. I feel like I have a better chance of success if I do it that way, especially as we're entering fall, September. It's still big homeschooling time and I'm still probably going to be pretty busy with the kids. So enough intro, let me hop into the books. All right, the first one, I might be the most excited about this one. I don't usually buy new releases, but I heard about this book on April's channel, Getting Hookah With It. I will link her down below, along with all of the other channels that are doing the readathon that I just mentioned. Okay, back to this book. When I heard about this, I rushed out and got it because it feels like a book that was written just for me. So I love historical fiction and infectious disease. So this book is about the Spanish flu. And I read As Bright as Heaven in March, and I just loved it. I think I've been raving about it since. It's still my favorite of 2020. So this book, The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue, takes a different angle, but a really interesting one. So it's told from the point of view of a nurse. This nurse works in the maternity ward in Dublin, in kind of an inner city hospital. So it's a little understaffed, underpaid. And at this point in time, it's early 1900s, Spanish flu is hit. And this nurse and a couple different doctors are assigned to the maternity ward of women who are expecting children, but also have the flu. So it sounds really intense because the flu is very deadly and I'm just not sure what's going to happen. It sounds like it could be a tearjerker, but it sounds like it could be really good. So I'm really looking forward to picking this up. It probably is going to be my next read after I finish We Were the Lucky Ones, which I'm really enjoying. Anyway, so there's this book that's coming up. Another book I am really looking forward to was actually a Book of the Month Club book. It came out maybe last month, month before, something like that. And I'll link below my info for Book of the Month. I always forget to do it, but I'll try and remember for this video. This book is called The Beauty in the Breaking by Michelle Harper. This is a memoir book, and it just sounds so good. So it's a memoir of a ER doctor, an African-American woman ER doctor. And that in and of itself is remarkable because that field is mostly white and male. And so it sounds like that's going to be an interesting take to hear her story. But on top of it, the story kind of starts out, it sounds like, with her marriage ending. So she had met her husband in medical school. They got married. They were both going to be doctors. And then she got this job. And right before she moved to this new job, he left her. So this story sounds like it's a lot of her dealing with that, healing from that, but also in light of her profession. So as she's wrestling with hardship with her patients and how to support her patients and how to advise them not to be driven by fear and letting go of fear and realizing that everybody's broken. And it just sounds very touching. And I love memoirs. I haven't read a ton of memoirs. I'm very choosy with my memoirs. And so this one just sounded very interesting to me. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And so the next one I want to tell you about is actually a homeschooling book. I talked about this book in my previous video where I talked about my favorite homeschooling books. And so I'll link that above for anybody that's interested. And I had just ordered this, and so I'm really excited to get into it. It's called Know and Tell, The Art of Narration by Karen Glass. Narration is basically where your kids orally tell you what happened. You read a story, like we're reading Charlotte's Web or something like that. You ask them like, well, what's going on? What happened? What was Wilbur doing? What was Charlotte doing? And to hear them tell it back. And it's an acquired skill. And as I was going, I realized I'm not very good at leading that. So I wanted to read a book that could help me. Not only does it teach them to answer and say complete sentences, but it also helps them organize their thoughts, bring it back out in a summary in their own words, and then that will lead to later on when they start writing. So creating their own stories, creating their own summaries or book reports or whatever. This is kind of foundational, is you're really working on how they think and organize in their head. And so it's just really good at honing that skill, and then it will really improve their writing later on. So I just love the idea of narration. I'm terrible at it, like I said, but that's my plan, is to read this book and hopefully get better at it. I will let you know how that goes. So the next couple I have talked about already on this channel, but I still really want to read them and I haven't got to them yet. And so the first one is The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. Again, this book is about a couple in Australia. He's a lighthouse keeper, and so they live kind of on a remote island, and they're struggling with infertility. And then one night, the wife, hears like a baby crying. And so she goes outside and she finds that there's a baby abandoned in a boat, I think. I can't quite remember. And then they take the baby in and start caring for it, which is good. But then I think they decide to keep the baby without reporting it to authorities. And then I think as they go, they start to wrestle with, was that a good decision? Is there a mama out there who is missing her child on the mainland or something like that? So it sounds really good and really heart-wrenching, and I've been wanting to pick that up for months and months. And so another book that I've been talking a lot about on this channel, and I still really want to get to, is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. So this book looks so good. From what I understand, it's about this girl and this man who stumble into kind of this inn in London, and it appears as if the girl is dead, but what happens is that she kind of comes back to life hours later, and everybody's very surprised. And then it seems like people keep coming out of the woodwork and being like, well, she's my daughter, or she's in my family in some way, and they keep trying to claim her. And so I think the story goes through like, why? Why do all these people want her? Why do all these people think that she is theirs? And she can't talk, so she can't tell her story or say what's going on. So it just sounds so good. I've been wanting to pick up a Diane Setterfield for a while. I think I would really like her books. So I'm going to do that, hopefully. The last one I have on my potential pile is An American Marriage by Terari Jones. And this just looks really good. It's a contemporary book. It's about a man who is wrongfully accused of a crime. I believe it's rape. And he did not do it. He was home with his wife. So he and his wife both know that he did not do it, but he gets sent to prison. And they were newly married, happily married. And it's about their marriage as he is incarcerated and what that does to their marriage. And it just sounds very good, because I think in the story he gets let back out, but it's really focused on their relationship and what this situation has done to their relationship, which just sounds fascinating. I haven't read a story like that before, and I've heard wonderful things about it. Okay, so that is what I have. I'm going to put back up the bingo board because I think I hit a number of prompts, like this one, nonfiction. This one's also nonfiction, but it's also written by a person of color. Oh, and it was also put out in 2020 along with this one. So both of those could go for 2020. Historical fiction. I mean, I have a lot of historical fiction. That's not hard to come by. Contemporary, like I mentioned. So if I get to some of these books, I can definitely check off some of those prompts for at least September. And since it runs for September, October, November, I could probably do this. Maybe. We'll see. I'm holding it very, very loosely because, like I said, I've been terrible at readathons. So anyway, that is what I have for this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think about them, and let me know also if you are participating in the readathon, because I think it sounds really fun. And I will link, again, all of that stuff in the description box. Please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you like what you see. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next book video. All right, have a wonderful day. All right, take care. Bye.